So when you referee, you also need to learn if you want to achieve more, need to learn to, okay, I made a mistake. Okay, it's over. I will think about that. I will analyze that later, but I need to continue running, continue be focused on the game, because otherwise I will keep making errors.
Hello, everyone. This is Kathy Caprino, and welcome to my podcast, Finding Brave. I've created this show for everyone who longs to create something bold and brave in their life, to rise up, speak up, and stand up for who they are, and to reach their highest and biggest visions. Each week, I'll be speaking with inspiring guests from all walks of business, leadership, entertainment, the creative arts, and the entrepreneurial world. And they'll be sharing their intimate stories of finding brave and offer their best strategies for building your most rewarding, joyful, and meaningful life, business, and career.
There we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Finding Brave. How are you? It is September, late September when you see this. It's not that here. We're in summer, but I hope you're doing beautifully. And I am so excited, as I am every time I record this podcast, to have an amazing guest who I know is going to be so inspiring to you. Manuela Nicolosi is here from Italy. Thank you for joining, Manuela.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you for inviting me. I'm so excited to be here.
So excited. And we are talking about something I think is so important to every single person on the planet. And I will say, I think there's special relevance for young girls and young women as well, who have big dreams, but there are tough impediments potentially in the way of those dreams. So we're talking about how to achieve our big dreams despite the tough barriers and challenges. And Manuela is really a beautiful spokesman about this. So let me tell you a little bit about her, and we're going to dive into the key questions that I know you all have, and I have too. So Manuela is an international soccer referee, speaker, and entrepreneur. First woman in the history of soccer, to referee a men's European final, the Super Cup between Liverpool and Chelsea in 2019. She's also the first Italian woman to referee the final of the Women's World Cup. How exciting! And she's a frequent speaker now in schools and organizations, inspiring young girls and women to believe in their dreams and thrive in their highest goals, as well as navigate predominantly male environments, which Manuela is an expert in. So thank you again for being here.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your presentation.
Oh, you are so welcome. All right. So can we dive in first, Manuela, with your personal story as a young child, what you dreamt to be and do back then? And then I'd love us to dig into what led you to do these incredibly inspiring things now. Can you tell us?
Sure. So when I was a kid, I always loved sports. I always loved challenges. So thanks to my parents, I tried several sports and I loved that. But there was one sport that I was really attracted from, and it was soccer. So all my family was soccer supporters. So first time I went to the stadium, I was 4 years old.
My gosh.
And I love that. You know, when you have you see something and you say to yourself, oh, I want to do that. I want to become that one. Wow. Even if there were men playing.
Yep.
I love that. I don't know if it was because I had a very strong relationship with my dad and I saw him loving this sport. So I was like, I want to do this sport for my dad. I don't know. I don't remember because I was very small, very young.
Did he play soccer as well as watch it?
No.
I see.
No. But we went to the stadium every single weekend. And if we didn't, because the game was not at home, usually on Sundays, we went to my grandmother, all my family. We have a big family because my father had 5 brothers and sisters, all with kids. So we were all the kids of the family at my grandma's, and we were watching on Sunday evening, you know, the program about soccer. So we were watching the goals and everything. So in my family, they were telling everybody about soccer. Wow. So that was my dream.
To play soccer at a high level.
To play soccer, yes,
Wow.
yes,
Wow.
to play soccer. In that team, of course, because when I want to start something is not, it's on the top level.
Of course.
So, but then I started playing myself, but my dad said, stop. It's not something for girls. So I don't want you to play soccer. He wanted me to do everything else except soccer. So
wait, let me even understand that. There were women's teams, illustrious women's teams, no?
Yeah, not so many in Italy. You know, it was not that.
Wow.
Yeah, not so many.
I see.
So yeah, but I didn't care. I wanted to become a soccer player.
Wow.
But yeah, as I said, my father didn't want. He kept buying for me, you know, a gift for doing bracelets or for doing, you know, for
girly things.
Oh, exactly. Well, I mean, I am a girly person, but still I love soccer, so I can be both. But for him, no. It's not something for girls. So I had to do something else. And then when I was 15, because in Italy before a woman couldn't become a referee. Okay, it was not. No, it was not allowed. Only men could be referees. I mean, not only in Italy, in several countries in Europe, of course, it was only something for men. And then when I was 15, the federation decided to open this possibility, this opportunity to women, so to girls. So I had my cousin and my uncle that were referees. So they say knowing my passion for soccer, they say to my father, what if we suggest her to become a referee because she loves soccer as she can't play? And so my father agreed, okay?
And did they referee at a high level? The World Cup?
No. They refereed on a regional level.
Wow. So dad said yes to that. You can referee.
Yeah. To that one, he said yes. And then I had to study the laws of the games, of course, and then pass an exam. And then I was, you know, the first year that women were allowed to do that. So I was one of the first ones. And I loved that because I love the challenges. So in me, it was like, okay, let me show to men that also me as a girl, as a woman, I can do that. So it was like, you know, a challenge for me. So let me show them that I can. Wow. And yeah.
And can I ask you, the first game that you came out into a stadium, how did that go? Did you ever get hate about it?
Actually, the first game was like, because, you know, you start studying the laws of the games, you pass the fitness test, and then they give you the first game. So you are in the middle of the pitch. Okay, they were kids, because you start with kids. They were
all right.
Around 9 years old, I think. Yeah, so you know, it's still kids, but it's difficult because for the first time ever, you find yourself in the middle of the pitch alone, because when you start refereeing, you're alone. Okay, yes. You don't have, like now we are three on the pitch, then we have the fourth official, then we have 2 VARs. So we are many of us, but when you start, you are alone.
Alone, one person.
Yeah, especially one girl. So all the kids were boys. All the trainers were men. All the staff were men.
My gosh.
So wow. I just arrived, me, 15 years old, and just doing that.
Manuela.
Okay, first time, of course, I did many mistakes. It's normal. When you start doing something, then you make mistakes, because you have to remember also the laws of the game that you have studied. You have to apply, because the referee does this. Studies the law of the game, and then every year there is like some changes also in the laws. So you have to study and you have to apply. And so you have to remember the first time, okay, this is foul, then I have to whistle, I have to give a yellow card, or maybe not, or maybe a red card. So it's
there's a million decisions within the rules. There's so many nuances that you have to decide in the split second.
And it's not like, you know, when you have to make a judgment that you say, hey, stop everybody, let me check in the book.
I'll be back in a minute.
What I am supposed to do, and then I will come back to you. You can say that. Players are expect that you just take the decision in the immediate moment that you say it's foul, it's not foul, it's yellow card, it's red card. And if you don't do that immediately, they start complaining. I don't know if it's something typical in Italy and maybe
no. My son played soccer and hockey, and you know, I'm a tennis player. Oh no, we are very vocal about terrible refs. Let's face it.
Yeah. So this is a culture thing everywhere in the world.
I think so.
So, and it happened. So I was proud of myself because I wanted to show to my father that I could do that.
Wow.
And then what happened is that the very same year, my father died. He had an accident. So he came out in the morning and he never came back. Oh. And I was only 16 years old.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And from that moment, of course, it was very hard for me. I also tried to kill myself because I was very, very attached to my father. So for me, it was a big loss. Oh, and then I decided to show him, to keep doing this, to show him that I could do that. I promised him I would, even if it was already in the sky, but I promised him that I would have become someone. He would have been proud of me. I'm sorry, I'm a bit emotional.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, so I kept on doing that. And every time I had some difficult moments, I would say, I always thought about him and about the promise that I made to him. So, and now looking back at that, I can say that I did what I wanted to do. I achieved what I wanted my father to see me. I'm sure that he saw me.
I'm sure he did every step of the way. And there's so much to be proud of. What a story. Can I hear a little bit about, all right, you did that first work and it was with children.
Yes.
What happened how did you get to the level you're at now to do I mean, I'm guessing you're competing against a lot of referees that want to referee these types of matches that the entire world is watching. How did that come about?
So I was lucky because I'm at the beginning, as it was like something new, people were supportive. Also in the local federation, people were supportive, so they helped me with many games. So I always had someone coming with me and giving me advice, you know. So, but I had also one person, who is my uncle, who I think that he decided to take care of me. So the former referee, he decided to take care of me maybe because of the loss of my father. So he decided to help me. But it was very hard because he has a very hard, strong character. So he started coming with me every match. And after the match, I thought I had a great game. And he was like, you did this wrong, you did this wrong, you did this wrong. How the hell do you want to become a referee? This was wrong. Why did you move that way? Why you did this?
Wow. So you had your own coach in terms of referee.
But I mean, if you are not as strong as him, you just decided to quit because I think that the briefing with him was other than the game. Because he was like, you did it wrong, you did it wrong, you don't have to do this. So I was crying in the trip back home. But then I said, okay, I will do that next time. I will do that next time. So I think that it was also thanks to him. Yeah, because I wanted to show him, I will show you that I can do that. So next time I was doing what he.
And when he would see that, would he say, now you did it, now you got it? Would he give you the credit, or no, it was pretty much, here's what you're doing wrong?
Yeah, he was much more focused on what I had to improve but without telling me you did it good and now you have to prove, but telling me what I will never forget one game. That's true. I did very bad in that game. I did some errors. I don't know. I was not in the mood. I don't know. Sometimes we had games like very early on Sunday morning and like everywhere in the region. So like maybe we had to leave at 6 a.m, driving 3 hours to get there and always getting there alone. Yeah. If I think back about that, I say, wow, I really had this passion. I really wanted to achieve something because every single weekend, every single Sunday morning, waking up at 6 a.m, driving, okay, not me, but him driving 3 hours and then getting there, go in the dressing room, get changed alone, warming up alone. And then you have also the public that is not very nice with you, especially because you are a woman. Like telling you, what are you doing on a pitch? This is not your place. You have to be in the kitchen or everywhere else and not here. And then, now if I think back, come on, it's scary. You are the only woman in the middle of the pitch, surrounded by boys, by men, everywhere. You go in the dressing room alone. Everybody could enter into the dressing room. So if I think back, I'm like, wow. But I wasn't scared at that moment. I only had one goal. I was focused. I wanted to achieve always more and more and more.
Did you have that dream, World Cup or Super Cup or early on?
Super Cup, no, because it was not allowed to women to referee men's international games. So my dream, I didn't dream at the beginning of the final of the World Cup, of course, but I was dreaming to be the first woman to achieve always more. So I was, for example, the first woman refereeing at the top level in the region of Lazio in Italy. So I was the first one. So, and that was very, I was very, very proud of myself. Yeah.
I can just for listeners, I would like to hit home about a few things that you said and see if I'm getting it right. This episode is called Achieving Your Big Dreams Despite Tough Barriers and Challenges. You had lost your father, right? And which is a shattering experience at any age, but certainly as a young person. But you turn that into inspiration. Like, I want to do this for my father to be proud, right? But we don't just achieve great things. They don't just fall in our laps. I mean, look at here's what I'm hearing: the commitment, the vision, the discipline, right? The perseverance, a tough skin. I mean, I've been in male-dominated organizations and situations, and I've had a lot of stuff, harassment, as I know you have. Yes, there's been mistreatment. Yes, there's been, you can't do this. Yes, there's what makes you think you can, blah, blah, blah. But you brought together all of that steely commitment. And on top of that, your own uncle, who loved you to pieces and wanted you to be better, was ripping you down. Look at how you screwed up. How do you even call yourself a ref? A lesser, I won't say lesser, or every spirit is gifted and beautiful, but a weaker person, a less committed person, a less dedicated person, a person with a thinner skin would have stopped at age 12. So I applaud you, because these are characteristics that we actually need if we want to achieve huge things and not just dream about them. Would you agree with that assessment?
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is why you have a very high rate of young referees that stop, that quit in the very first 1 to 4 years, because they are alone. They are alone, they go on the pitch alone, they are back alone. So they are lost. Okay. And also they say, why do I have to go there, be alone, take all the people screaming
Yelling at me, telling me I'm nothing.
And nothing exactly for what?
Yeah.
Because you don't do that for money, of course. Because you don't earn
No.
anything. It's not for money that you do that. It's just
No.
for your passion of football, or just for. I think that refereeing is a very it's cool. It's very cool of understanding also how to behave, how to manage people, how
Wow.
to adapt also your communication, and especially also how to start, you know, keep, making your decisions without being influenced by other people. Because if you start listening to all the people that are telling you, okay, I'm not using bad words, but bad words, and what you do here, you make big error. So if you allow them to make you feel bad about that decision, or make you focus on the decision that you took 5 minutes before, then you are no more focused on the rest of the game. So you need, because this was my mistake, of course, when you start, but it's normal when you make a mistake and you realize that you make a mistake, or maybe other people telling you there was a red card, you missed the red card, you missed the penalty, and then you continue thinking about that.
Then you're losing everything ahead of you.
Exactly. You're not more focused on the present. Wow. So when you referee, you also need to learn, if you want to achieve more, need to learn to, okay, I made a mistake. Okay, it's over. I will think about that. I will analyze that later, but I need to continue running, continue be focused on the game, because otherwise I will keep making errors. And you have to do this, not being sitting on your desk. You're doing this while running from the one side of the pitch to the other. Also, you need to take the good vision, because normally when there is a fall, you need to see between the players to see if there is a fall. Because if you are right in the back, you don't see if there is like a holding.
Of course. You've got to have the full view of what's happening between players.
Yeah, exactly. So you need to run faster because you have to be in the middle to see. And all of these, and while you're running, you need to think, okay, no, this is good. This is good. Okay, play on. Okay, no, this is foul. I'm going to give a yellow card for reckless. I'm going to give a red card because it was a goal score opportunity. And you need to think while you're running. So this is why also you have to be very, very fit, because otherwise you don't have enough oxygen to your head, to your mind. So you aren't able to take the good decision, because if you don't have enough oxygen, of course, you can take the decision. You just keep running. So you can see when a referee is not enough fit, not because of the body, but because you see where that is missing many incidents or many things, because it's thinking only about running and the mind is no more responding.
So to me, all right, I'm emphasizing what I hear. I hope it's helpful for listeners. Everything you do is, and that's why you're teaching young girls and women and men too, and you're going into organizations. One thing that you said, we all make mistakes. Some of them are glaring, some of them are public, some of them are ridiculous. But what in that moment in soccer, if, as you said, if you stop and agonize about that, you've lost your ability to contribute at a high level, because you're focused on what just happened and how not to do it again. And you're going to be insecure and you're going to repeat. That is exactly the same as managing and leading, right? We're going to make mistakes. You are. There's no flawless human. But what you learned was in the moment, yeah, I blew that. I will deal with that later, and I will correct how I made that mistake. But right now I've got to deliver. Amazing. And on top of that, you physically have to be fit, which I think is a metaphor. Not everyone is going to be able to run fast. You had to run faster than those boys when you first started out, right? You have to run. You've got to catch up, keep up. But for those of us who don't play soccer, I do think that the fitness, the wellness piece is important in leadership as well. If we're drained, if we're stressed, if we're having a manic attack, if we are, depressed, anxious, all of these things, it gets in the way of our communication, our ability to have good boundaries, our ability to be in the moment, our ability not to lose it when someone screams at us. I mean, it is just a complete parallel to leading in organizations, right? Am I getting it?
Absolutely. And as you said about communication, we also, because it's not only taking the right decision, being in the right position at the right moment, but it's also communication.
Right.
Because when you take a decision, most of the time you have players complaining, especially
right. One is going to be complaining about it.
Okay. So if they come and scream and you put yourself at the same level as them and you start screaming also it will become a mess. So you also need to manage your stress. So take the decision. You know that you have taken the biggest decision of the match because maybe you have given a red card, you've given a penalty. Maybe you are not 100% sure, but you took that because you feel it. Because after years of experience, you know that and you feel it. And then you have people coming to you, telling you were wrong. I didn't touch him. What are you doing? And so you need to learn to manage your emotions, because you need to calm everybody down. You need to manage everybody. I mean, except if they want to keep themselves and you leave them doing this. Wow. But when they come to you screaming, you need to stay calm and focused and say, stop there. Wow. I don't want to talk, or you explain, but because what's the most natural answer? If someone is screaming to you,
you scream back.
Scream back, of course. Stop screaming. But then everybody starts screaming higher and higher. So you also need to calm people down and say, stop. I've taken my decision. He was holding, or he did a reckless or whatever, and then go back. And of course, they will respect you more. But what I'm telling to you is I've learned years of experience, of course, because at the beginning, when you start, nobody tell you don't follow as a referee like a mental. You learn the laws of the games. You go and train with other referees, but then everything about mental, about visualization, about managing your emotions, it's about you. So you have to do this work on yourself. So this is why I see, as you said before, many things in common with also
it truly is
job in corporate, because you need to take your decision not with the stress that puts you in a very high stress situation, and then you're not able to take the decision.
I'm also hearing two other elements. We scream back at someone often because in some way we don't have the ultimate trust in our decision and we're defending ourselves. Mm-hmm. In your role, I made the decision. It's done now. I'm not undoing that. Mm-hmm. So you'll have to live with it. And so what is the purpose of yelling back at the person? It's ridiculous, right?
Correct. It's only it happens as a natural reaction of the human, because the human being, once that you scream back and say, stop screaming. But you're not screaming at him.
No, and you need to rise above that reaction, that human defensive reaction, which is also a part of leading and working well with people. Because if we keep giving each other what we're giving each other, we're going to spiral out of control. And it's fantastic. Oh, I love it. Now,
I think that one of the best, I'm sorry, just want to add one thing. One of the things that really made me do a big change was stopping taking things personally. Oof. I made so many mistakes and I was feeling so bad after each game when I took everything personally. Every time that
people's insults, you're terrible, you're stupid, you're whatever.
Exactly. Or you took a wrong decision, and I felt bad because I felt like I wasn't good enough because I took a bad decision. And then when I started with all the work that I did on myself, so when I started then not taking anymore anything personally, anything. So I understand now that if someone tells you about that decision, they are talking about that decision. No, they are talking about that behavior that you had in that situation. They are not talking about you. Really. Stopping doing that, it was now I am.
Wow.
But it was very hard because I was taking everything personally. So if you tell me, oh, you were like, you answering that way, I was like, why did you say that? Are you saying that that means that one? Why you just say something without any hidden meaning? But then when I stopped that, oh gosh, that was a change, a life changing.
It is a life changer. You know, there's an amazing book called The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz about agreements to make with yourself to live the highest, best life you can. And one of them is take nothing personally. And people will say, and I'll teach that, and people will say, really, Kathy, really don't take anything personally. Now, we're not narcissists, hopefully most of us. So when there is true remorse that you are feeling for how you behave, you need to understand your part in it, and you need to apologize and make amends, of course. But generally, what comes at you is more about that person than you. So maybe it was an unwise decision, but it doesn't mean you're stupid. It doesn't mean you're a terrible person. And I think if we can learn, don't take it personally, which is an incredibly, it's emotional mastery and self-awareness. And bravo to you. All right, my dear, I'm dying to live in the moment of when you did the first ever and you walked out on the field. I just want to live that high moment. I hope it was a high moment.
Oh,
what happened?
It was so unexpected because 1 month before I had achieved the dream of my life, that was the final of the World Cup, or the Women's World Cup. And that was a really emotional moment because, you know, for a World Cup, so first of all, you need to work 5 years of selection to be selected for the World Cup. So after every World Cup, a number of referees from all over the world are pre-selected, okay, for the selection process for the World Cup. So during these 4 years, you do your games, you do fitness tests, you do seminars, and then the list became smallest and smallest, okay? And then the final list goes out 3 months before the World Cup. So you imagine these 4 years, okay? Then I went to the World Cup. And then at the World Cup, we are all friends between the referees among the countries. But of course, there is competition, okay? Right. So we all train together, but you need to show also that you are 100% fit to be selected for each game. So it's game after game. So you can imagine after 45 days of the competition, and then after the quarterfinals, 2/3 of the referees, they went home. So we stayed only, because there were only the semifinals and the final.
I see.
So we were only 6 trios of us. And so when they announced it, the name, and so of course, I started crying. I'm emotional, but I love it. I live my emotion. I love that. So I master my emotion on the pitch, but I am an emotional person, and I love feeling my emotion. So of course I started crying, but in that moment,
you mean when you were accepted to do the finals in the World Cup? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, they announced. So our boss announced the names of the referees selected for the final.
Gosh.
And so it was also in France, and my family could come. So my mother was there, my daughter was there, my brother was there. So I was the happiest ever. So for me, it was the dream of my life, because as a woman, I only could do
Women's World Cup.
Women's World Cup. So for me, it was okay. I'm done. I'm the
I did it.
happiest ever. Also because the World Cup is every 4 years. So every 4 years, it is only one trio of referees. So I was one of the of these three of the referees every 4 years. So for me, okay, I have done. But I was prepared. So we prepared for 4 years. We had to pass the men's fitness test. So I was prepared.
Wow.
And so then I was, wow, fantastic. I'm the happiest person ever. And then 3 weeks later, there was the Super Cup. And then I had this call from the chief of the UEFA and my referees telling me and to the other assistants that we had been selected for refereeing the Super Cup. So many of my colleagues told, so I started jumping everywhere, calling all my friends, and I was like, wow. And so I had many colleagues telling me, didn't you feel afraid of doing that? You know, because because we had all the pressure, because that was the,
my gosh.
that was the, you know, the war. Because either we did this game well, as we did, and this would have break the wall and then open the opportunity to all the women as it happened, or
you blow it. And that's
exactly.
it for women. See, we shouldn't have had women.
Exactly.
Go back in your corner. Oh,
exactly.
We
gave you the opportunity.
Yeah. And you blew it.
Exactly. But never, because we were so well prepared for years.
It was 3 women that were chosen for
the
men's?
The same 3 women that refereed the Women's World Cup final.
Right, but for the men's European final, was it
the
women?
Same 3. The same 3.
Same 3.
Yeah, same 3. The same
so much
3.
pressure, so much pressure, so much pressure.
Yeah, but I was the pressure was not like, oh my God, will I be able to do that? No, never. I was like, I can't wait to do that. I can't wait to show them I can do that.
Wow.
Really, that was my, and
wow.
So the funny thing was that when I asked, because I had never refereed a men's international game before, so when I asked you, some colleagues, what's your advice, you know? And the advice from all the men was, oh, they are very fast, because it's true that the English football or the English soccer is fast.
Is what?
It's fast.
Fast.
But they say that English, they play very fast. But it's not because they play fast. It's because when you whistle a foul, because they are men, the same men that play in the English league, they are also in the French league, or the Italian league, or the US league. So it's not because they are faster, the men that play there, but it's because in the English football, they complain less. So when you whistle the foul, they put the ball down and they play.
I see.
So you have very few breaks, okay? Very few. So this is because people think it's faster.
Wow.
It's because they play faster. They continue playing, okay? So they put the ball down and they play. So all the men, the advice was, oh, they play fast. So
wow.
So we were looking with the other colleagues, and they would say, this is not an advice. I know they are men. We referee men every weekend. So, okay, it won't be harder than a game of men that we referee every weekend. But everybody were afraid that we weren't able to
keep up, to run as fast.
Exactly.
When it's not about running as fast, it's about the fitness required not to have the pauses, not to have the breaks that maybe another.
Exactly. So they were afraid that we wouldn't keep the track. But I tell you, we didn't only do the normal game. We also had the extra time
Oh my gosh.
And went to the penalties also. That was a very long. We ended at 1:30 in the morning.
And when you first walked on the field to be the ref, what happened?
I was so much happy to be there. You could see one beautiful thing, that if you see the images, because we had cameras everywhere, of course, following us, but you could see the three of us always smiling.
And the crowd? What did the crowd do?
The crowd did a very beautiful thing, because normally when referees go out of the on the pitch for the warming up before the game, okay, they are always whistled, okay.
Whistled?
No.
Whistle?
No, everyone, they always do, you know, always. In that case, we went out and all the stadium started clapping. And that
makes me cry.
Yeah, and that
all the stadium, all the men, all the
clapping.
women.
Yes, because this was so much.
Wow.
Because once that we were appointed for that, all the media from all over the world, because it was, the history breaking. So every media in all the world, they said, oh, 3 women will do the final. 3 women will do the final. Everywhere we had like people from all over the world. This game was watched from I think 2 billion of people.
Oh my gosh, look at you.
Yeah, because it was broadcasted everywhere.
Of course.
So, and I realized that when we arrived at the stadium. And there was all these people outside the stadium. There I started feeling like, wow, we are there. We are doing that.
Congratulations, my dear. You did so many. Speaking of barriers, you broke so many barriers here. And it warms my heart that in that high-pitched moment, people showed who they really can be. That they're welcoming 3 women to do this in a traditionally male role until just a few years before. It's so heartwarming. Bravo to you. My dear, we have only a little bit of time left, but I want to what? I'm the one that asked you 52 questions, but I want to make sure we talk about, you have a book, a children's book out. I want to make sure too that organizations who would love you to come and speak know where to find you, and you can tell us a little bit about that work you're doing. So would you guide us through that? What kinds of organizations and schools, etc., what kinds of programs are having you come speak, so that if anyone is listening, they can say, oh, we need. Tell us about that.
So in school, I normally do go into middle schools. Okay. Yeah. Because this association, they found out that today teenagers, they don't have passion. They don't know what they want to do, or they think that maybe think too hard, because if you want to become to do career in sports, you have to train, you have to be consistent, you have to commit. So, and that was for me very strange to go in middle schools. And then of course they, especially boys, then when they know that I am a soccer referee, so they are like, oh, can you explain that rule? Can you explain that rule? Do you know that player? Do you know that player? So that's funny. But girls, they speak very, very few. So they don't ask many questions. They don't say. And when I ask them, which is your passion? 90% of girls, they just answer, I don't know. I don't have any passion. Oh. And I'm like, come on, really? What do you like doing? What do you like playing? What do you like? I don't know. And they're like, I don't know. I don't have any passion. But then when the all this presentation is done, then they come to me and then they say, I would love to do that. I would love to do that. And I'm like, why didn't you say that in front of the boys? And they're like, because I'm afraid of judgment.
Oh boy. There we go. Do you know that the research shows that by age 13, something like 20 to 30% of girls' confidence disappears? And it's because of all the socialization girls have. Oh, I'm so grateful to you for going and speaking and igniting passion and helping girls realize I do have passion. You know, I think sports are so good for girls. I was a tennis player. I was number 1 on the team in high school, went to the States in New York, and boys would call me, "Hey, Kathy, you want to play?" Because they weren't on the team. They wanted to beat the number 1 girl and say, and they never did. I wiped the court with them. And I'm like, "Okay, Fred, see you next week. See you at school." And they slumped off. I think and I had so many guys who were friends, and I was comfortable, and I wanted mastery, and I wanted competition. It's beautiful. And I think
we girls, they are afraid of competition. I think they are not taught that it's good to be competitors. No. It's good.
My mother, God rest her soul, she said, "Don't beat the boys." I said, "Why not?" She goes, they won't like you. I'm like, but I think that's an outmoded but very common belief. Don't beat the boys.
But what you said before about the boys calling you remind me about me doing the fitness test with the boys. And every time I double a boy, I heard the boy,
"I can't live with myself if I lose this."
For them, it's like, oh my God, it can't happen. It can't happen. So yeah, they did the same. They started running faster only after I doubled them, because they didn't want to be doubled by me, not by another
That's
boy.
right. Oh, how do I love it?
Yeah, but I wasn't afraid of judgment. I know it's hurtful, but what is hurtful for me now, it's listening to all these girls afraid of judgment already at 13 years old, 5 years old. So, and not believing in themselves or not having passion because they are afraid of what the boys or other people are thinking.
I know.
So I'm trying to telling them to all of them. I tell them, write me on DM on Instagram or whatever, or tell your parents to write me if they don't want to bring you to the training or whatever, because I want to talk with them. I tell them, because I think they need someone, to give them, to inspire them, because otherwise they are like, no, it's better not. So it's themselves that put the limits. They put
It's right.
They say, no, I
but society contributes to that. And we, what is the outcome? I'm working with mid to high level professional women, thousands of them. The outcome is a very bland, very unsatisfying, very unengaged life. If you cut yourself off at the knees and you don't want to strive and you don't want to ignite your passion and you're afraid of judgment, it doesn't end well. So I'm hoping, I know I sound fervently, activated here, but if any parents are listening, please encourage your girls and of course your boys. This is not only to talk about girls, but encourage them to follow what they love. Yes, they're going to fail. Yes, it's going to be hard. Yes, they're going to be made fun of. And so what?
They will learn from
they will learn. Just like you in the drive home with your uncle. You blew it. You blew it 52 times. Well, next time I'll blow it 30 times. And next time I won't blow it. Yes, please, let's. Oh, how wonderful. So where do we learn about your book? Where do we go to, hire you to speak? Where do we send people?
For the children's book or for my book? Okay, so for the children's book is on Amazon. I will give you the link. So
beautiful. We'll link to it below. Love it.
And for my book, the same.
Oh my dear. I can't thank you enough for coming. Your story is so inspiring. And I do think this title is it. Despite the tough barriers, despite your losses, despite your beloved father saying, I'm sorry, you can't do what you love, you found a way to do something and break barriers that wouldn't have even been possible had you followed the other direction. Is that true? So wonderful. It's so inspiring. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here. So appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. I hope this ignites you. And even if you're a 50-year-old woman or 45 and you hear this, a lot of what I help people do is, no, maybe you don't want to chuck your career, but you had a passion as a young person that you let go. So for instance, I still play tennis. I still sing because those things make me happy. So if you're listening and you're not a young girl, but you're anyone else, but you've let those passions go, I hope those are ignited for you too, because it changes us to pursue those passions because our heart is on the line with those. And when your heart is on the line and your spirit's on the line, it enlivens everything. So please, wherever you see this, please like it. Please ask us a question. Manuela will answer it on LinkedIn, Instagram, wherever you find this. Please let us hear from you. We'd love to hear what you got from it. I hope you're inspired. And I wish you a wonderful Finding Brave 2 weeks. And we will see you soon. Thank you. Hi, friends. Kathy here. I'm excited to share info on something I've never done before, but I hope it's really helpful. I've developed and taught 2 different courses over the past years, my 16-week Amazing Career Project course and my 8-week The Most Powerful You course. Both offer video training, a transformative career growth curriculum, tons of great resources, plus weekly live coaching calls with me. This fall, I've decided to promote them both at the same time. So you can choose which course is best for you now, or you can take them both at the same time. The Most Powerful You teaches women how to dramatically build their confidence, impact, self-esteem, and strength so that they can reach their highest potential in any career direction. The Amazing Career Project walks women through the 16 most essential steps to building a happier and more rewarding career they love. Click the links below in the show notes for a description of both and choose the one that's best for you. This is information that every professional needs to know if they want to reach their highest success and happiness. Both courses start the week of September 25th, and I can't wait to see you then. Thank you.
Thanks so much for joining us today. And please don't forget to check out findingbrave.org for more programs, resources, and tips. And tune in next time for your weekly dose of Finding Brave.